I'm not like other girls. You said it, maybe not out loud, but you performed it. You were easygoing, never had opinions that caused conflict. Low maintenance, never asked for anything. Chill, never expressed needs. Cool, never showed emotions that made people uncomfortable. You ate the burger, watched the game, laughed at the joke that wasn't funny. You didn't complain, didn't nag, didn't need reassurance, didn't require effort. You were the cool girl, and everyone loved you for it. Your friends say, she's so chill. Your partners, she's so low maintenance. Your family, she never causes drama. You became the girl who was easy to love because you required nothing. But here is what no one told you. Being low maintenance is expensive. And cool girl energy, it's been trapped in you. Today, we're calculating the cost and sending you the bill you've been avoiding. Hi, and welcome back to Miss Rain. I'm so excited to be in your ears today. And if you've ever called yourself low maintenance, like it's a compliment, if you've ever prided yourself on being the chill one, if you've ever said, I'm not like other girls to prove you're easier to love, this episode is going to dismantle everything you've been performing. Let me hold up a mirror. You pride yourself on being low maintenance because you don't ask for much, you don't start drama, you go with the flow, you're easy to please, you don't require emotional labor from others, and people love this about you. They call you the cool girlfriend, the chill friend, the easy one, drama-free, and you wear it like a badge of honor. But let me ask you something. When was the last time someone asked what you needed? When was the last time someone showed up for you the way you show up for everyone else? When was the last time you expressed the need without immediately apologizing for it? The cool girl isn't new. Author Gillian Flynn named her in Gone Girl. Cool girls never get angry. They only smile in a chagrined, loving manner. Cool girls are above all hot and understanding. Cool girls never get angry at their men. That monologue went viral because it named something women had been performing for decades without language for it. The cool girl is attractive, but not high maintenance. Feminine, but one of the guys. Desirable, but not demanding. Has needs, but never expresses them. She's the fantasy, and you've been auditioning for the role your entire life. Today, we're exposing what low maintenance actually costs you, the psychology of cool girl performance, why this pattern bankrupts your relationships, career, and sense of self, the difference between genuine ease and performative chill, how to stop performing and start requiring, the framework to become high maintenance, and why that's actually healthy. By the end of this episode, you'll never call yourself low maintenance again. So, if you're ready, let's dismantle this. Let's start by naming what cool girl energy looks like, because you might be performing it without even realizing. I'll give you the cool girl checklist. In relationships, you never ask where the relationship is going. You're fine with casual when you want commitment. You don't express hurt because you don't want to seem crazy. You laugh off disrespect because you're not sensitive. You accommodate their schedule, friends, preferences. You never nag about unmet needs. In friendships, you're always available when they need you. You never burden them with your problems. You go along with plans you don't actually want. You minimize your achievements so they don't feel threatened. You're the fun one who never brings the mood down. At work, you don't negotiate salary. You're grateful for the opportunity anyway. You take on extra work without complaint. You don't advocate for yourself because you don't want to seem difficult. You smile through microaggressions. You're the team player who never rocks the boat. In your family, you accommodate everyone's needs. You don't express boundaries because you don't want conflict. You're the peacekeeper, never the problem. You minimize your feelings to keep things smooth. If you checked more than 3, unfortunately, you're performing cool girl energy and it's costing you. So you might be asking now, why do we do this? Why do intelligent, capable women shrink themselves into low maintenance? Dr. Harriet Lerner, psychologist and author of The Dance of Anger, explains, women are socialized from childhood to prioritize relationships over self-advocacy. We learn that expressing needs, anger, or boundaries threatens connection, so we perform agreeableness to maintain belonging. Let me translate it for you. You learned early that nice girls don't complain. Good women accommodate. Lovable people don't have too many needs. Desirable women are easy. And you internalized my worth equals how little I require. But let's call it what it is. Cool girl energy is internalized misogyny. It's the voice that says, other girls are dramatic, but not me. I'm not like those high maintenance women. I'm easier to deal with. You're performing masculinity's fantasy of femininity. Attractive, but not vain. Opinionated, but not argumentative. Independent, but not threatening. Available, but never needy. You became the woman the patriarchy designed, and the reward? Male approval, social acceptance, the title of chill, but the cost is your authentic self, your needs, your boundaries, and your soul. Let's go deeper and calculate the cost, because cool girl energy isn't free. You're paying every single day. And here is your invoice. When you never express needs, never show vulnerability, never ask for anything, people can't actually know you. They know the performance, the easy, chill, accommodating version, but they don't know what you actually want, what hurts you, what you need to feel loved, who you are when you're not performing. Research on authentic relating by Dr. Brené shows that vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. When we remove vulnerability to protect ourselves, we also remove the possibility of being truly seen and loved. You think being low maintenance makes you lovable, but actually it makes you unknowable. And unknowable people are easy to leave because they never gave anyone a reason to stay for the real them. Here is the brutal pattern. Low maintenance women attract high maintenance people. You might ask why. Let me give you an answer. Because takers seek givers. People who don't want to put in effort are drawn to people who don't require it. You've trained people, I won't ask for much. I won't complain when you disappoint me. I won't hold you accountable. I'll accommodate your preferences. I'll shrink so you can expand. And then you wonder why your partners don't prioritize you. Your friends only call when they need something. Your colleagues dump work on you. And your family expects you to handle everything. You're not unlucky in relationships. You're advertising yourself as someone who won't require reciprocity. When you spend years performing chill, something happens. You forget who you actually are. You've been so busy being what he wants, what they need, what everyone expects, that you don't know what you want, what you need, and what you actually prefer. You've become a chameleon, adapting to every environment, reflecting everyone else's desires. But you disappeared. Dr. Donald Winnicott's concept of the false self, we've already talked about it in one of our previous episodes. It explains when we consistently suppress our authentic self to meet external demands, we develop a false self, a compliant persona that operates in the world while the true self remains hidden and undeveloped. Over time, the false self becomes so automatic you don't even remember there is a true self underneath. Cool girls don't get angry. They're chill, easy, understanding. But anger doesn't disappear just because you suppress it. It goes underground and surfaces as passive aggression, resentment, anxiety, depression, physical illness, sudden explosive rage, seemingly out of nowhere, and self-sabotage. Research by Dr. Harriet Lerner shows that women who suppress anger to maintain relationships often develop depression, anxiety, and psychosomatic symptoms. The anger doesn't go away, it turns inward. You think you're being chill, but your body is keeping score. And one day, the bill comes due. Here is the most obvious ghost. If you never ask for what you need, you never receive it. As simple as that. You wait for people to notice you're struggling, intuit your needs, offer without being asked, and prioritize you without prompting. When they don't, you feel hurt, unseen, invalued. But here is the truth. People are not mind readers, and they will give you exactly as little as you accept. If you accept inconsistency, low effort, unreciprocated care, being an afterthought, that's what you'll get. Not because you're unworthy, but because you never communicated you required more. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying you should be high maintenance in a toxic way. I'm not saying you should be demanding, entitled, or difficult. There is a difference between authentic ease, that is healthy, and performative chill, that's unhealthy. Let me break it down. Authentic ease shows up like you genuinely don't have strong preferences about something. I'm truly fine with either restaurant. You're flexible because you value connection over control. You accommodate because it brings you joy, not because you fear rejection. You're easygoing because you're secure, not because you're performing. You don't express a need because you genuinely don't have one. And the signs it's authentic, you feel at peace, you're not resentful, you'd make the same choice alone. It simply aligns with your values. While performative chill shows up like you say you don't have preferences because expressing them feels risky. You're flexible because you're afraid of being too much. You accommodate to avoid conflict or rejection. You're easygoing because you're auditioning for love. You don't express needs because you've learned they make you difficult. These are signs it's performative. You feel resentful later. You're monitoring their reaction. You wouldn't choose this alone because it contradicts your actual feelings. Here is a simple test. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? If it's fear, it's performance. If it's genuine, it's ease. Now let's reclaim a word, high maintenance. You've been taught it's an insult. I'm telling you, it's a requirement. When people call a woman high maintenance, they usually mean she has standards, she communicates needs, she doesn't accept low effort, she requires reciprocity, she has boundaries, and she advocates for herself. In other words, she knows her worth and she requires others to honor it. That's not high maintenance. That's self-respect. Here is the truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept. If you accept being an afterthought, they'll keep putting you last. If you accept inconsistent effort, they'll keep showing up inconsistently. If you accept unreciprocated care, they'll keep taking without giving. If you require consistency, they either rise to it or reveal they're not capable. If you require effort, they either invest or exit. If you require reciprocity, they either match it or show themselves out. High maintenance women don't have bitter luck. They have higher standards, and standards filter. When you become high maintenance, aka have needs and express them, something liberating happens. You stop attracting people who can't meet you, and you start attracting people who can. The wrong people self-select out. The right people step up. You become a filter, not a sponge. Alright, so let's get practical. How do you stop? How do you recover from cool girl bankruptcy? Here is a simple framework. Step number 1. Audit the performance. First, identify where you're performing. You can do it by journaling on these questions. Where do I shrink myself to be easy? What needs do I suppress to avoid being too much? Who benefits from my low maintenance performance? What am I afraid will happen if I express needs? Where am I performing chill but feeling resentful? Name the pattern to break it. Step number 2. Practice micro needs. You don't have to overhaul your entire personality overnight. Start small. Express one small need per day. Can we talk about this when I'm less tired? I need a few hours alone this weekend. I'd like you to text when you'll be late. Start with low stakes needs. Build the muscle. Step number 3. Stop apologizing for having standards. Cool girls apologize for everything in life. Sorry to bother you, but I know this is probably stupid, but sorry for being difficult. Stop. Just stop it. Replace sorry to ask with I need. I don't want to be annoying. Say I'd like. This might be too much, but just say, here is what works for me. Your needs are not an inconvenience. They're information. Step number 4. Let people disappoint you. This is the scariest part. When you start expressing needs, some people won't need them. And that's the point. When you express a need and someone dismisses it or makes you feel bad for having it, maybe they call you high maintenance or doesn't even try, just notice. These are not your people, and that's okay. Better to be alone than to be unknown. Step number 5. Befriend difficult women. You know those women you judged as high maintenance? Study them. They're not difficult. They're boundaried. They don't accept disrespect, low effort, inconsistency, or being an option, and you need their energy. Notice which women advocate for themselves, have clear boundaries, don't shrink, and require reciprocity. Spend time with them. Their standards will raise yours. Last but not least, step number 6. Redefine difficult. Change the narrative. Difficult women are women who know what they want. They communicate clearly. They don't accept less, and they have self-respect. If that's difficult, the problem isn't you. It's the people who prefer you compliant. When someone calls you difficult or high maintenance, internally translated, I'm inconvenient to people who benefited from my silence, and wear it as a compliment. Let me prepare you for something painful. When you stop being the cool girl, some people will leave. And that's not a warning to stay small. It's a promise that you're doing it right. Partners who loved how easy you were, not who you are, will leave. Friends who only called when they needed something will leave. Family members who relied on your accommodation, colleagues who benefited from your lack of boundaries, and anyone who preferred the performance over the person. They all are gonna leave. And here's what you need to hear. Let them leave. They were never loving you. They were loving your utility. The right people don't need you to be low maintenance. They want to know what you actually need. They want to meet you. They want reciprocity. When you stop performing, you lose people who like the mask, and you gain people who love the truth. That's not a loss. That's a filter. That's a win. So here is where I need you to understand. The most expensive thing you own is your silence. Every time you say I'm fine when you're not. Every time you accommodate when you don't want to. Every time you perform chill when you're screaming inside. You are paying with your authenticity, with your self-respect, with your capacity to be truly known and loved. And the bill? It's enormous. So stop calling yourself low maintenance like it's a virtue. It's not. It's a survival strategy you learned when you were too young to know you had other options. But you're not that girl anymore. You're a woman who has needs and expresses them. A woman who has boundaries and enforces them. A woman who has standards and requires them. You're a woman who has preferences and communicates them. You're not difficult. You're clear. You're not high maintenance. You're high value. And high value women don't shrink. So here is your new identity. I am no longer easy to love because I require nothing. I am easy to love because I'm clear about what I need. And the right people will meet me there. Share this episode with a recovering cool girl. Tag her, send it. Say, this is us, and we're done performing. And remember, the cost of being low maintenance is you, and you're too expensive to give away for free. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until next time, stay graceful, stay powerful, and always wear your crown.